particular moldela isadi wala mi yalan ko wollen ta sotola barka saka ka do di businessman wala de jana ka do di modo la mo mi understand ma information o ko minister fangala oddly mi yalan ko sa junior officer in the service accorda di alaji
atol allo keno nyin kono
no keno nyin kono je so kaji bi ko la fakile la family ti do fonta min dade bol kala de fon bambundulu akoma
but hala nyin combo kene kulu problem o warata bar nyin kene kulu man sotono kene ku diamo man soto jam bar ko kline fana mol fana ka wala fo ko wala nyin kene ku diamo be wulindi bring dindingolu nyaay kodoje kenodo because if some 50 years ago or 30 years ago when keno man kenung business wori more a problem man soroje but all of a sudden dindingol nataje ko keno nyin most of them combo dindingo jamalu bebe kana business holder so walelu ka problem or nati around this kenolu atol la ñu yundum fo la be jeba
no o man tare ñu yundum bir ngaji be ko man sakunda nyin keno tale wala saybe developments be ke kanje mami on la star mitindol min kumandi wolon ko say sate nata je ko say to len kono ba approach nyaadi le me dunna ko kono nyaadi le sate nata agree ko say be min kel be nga nyinan tayala rek ngadi sate la say tol go sate mo reserve lan so to mi alon ko la fa cool min kele me kayna development plans be mbulas VDC la fa ke implement man la so to be kala dami yundum nyabe to lekeno man sakunda ya hafu beleta kabo airport da soja kampor yo ni nyata kena comme ça keno nin kodo ndol mo miro soto nan kan dol la fa kala sate tale na soto ta fana mbari amba list la para sate to yalo project ol ngamin soto de for development purposes ngi sambana nje laptano lom karambo lomba skill center lomba multi purpose lom fo be yalon ko sate harma din ko sula la nyana han ala balu ko non la fangi be soto dol fana mal la fi na sate dingol ko wuli sura da fam fenna ko moto jo kata lal to KM do kata banjul do kata la ko kaje man la fuwal space min bembulu on sa fam be so na yale so fana ngaaji ko sayam jamano la fatala nyanta ka so na entitle men na banko dia nyanta so keno bije e mason kanda comme ça na secretariat fo nyane ni tani ma sekunda approach ni keno ne ata no 100% na kilo nyimbedi sa imta for 20 or 25% da malebe do ko be ke or less than that all occupied for now jama babije pour yo dina e mason ka dina andi kamin fo mbagala state la ni kana la mamunela ni mota fa dia mo mari ajele ko e ba ka expand ka residential ko mol setulde ko mol sambaji ibuka lol kana je nyame mfa e kamin be fo le plan se bukana wo implement wala mon tolla
wala mo tala ko mod malang so but then ngameng fananje or what we saw was the press conference by the government minister of lands to really clear set the records straight because there's a lot of talk not just the press conference was largely on Salaji and the demolition and everything that happened there but your community the statement there by the permanent secretary he's saying that the government will not allow people to take the law into their own hands by appropriating public places for their own personal use. That's what he was saying. But not just that. What the ministry or the government is arguing is that in Combo here, all the land belongs to the government, belong to the state, and the state has every power to dispense or decide what to do with what land. What do you have to say about that?
I am not arguing that. First of all, let me put this thing before the general public. That Yundum is one of the most law-abiding community in the whole of Combo. You can count how many times there is a conflict shut off that it has to take the public by attention. You can count them. So by way of that, I think we are law-abiding community, and we are not taking law into our own hands. Initially, I think, was it last week, the fracas or the attention that was built around that land, there was no push and pull. What the community decided, in particular, the Village Development Committee, is to go and survey the place. We went there to see some of the development that is being taken place. Not in fact where the MPs are, not where the development is taking place, at the empty land. Because currently if you go there, you'll find out that there are some real estate agents that are erecting their billboards. The government said they have a buffer between this place. Now they have encouraged into that. They are moving a bit by bit. Every day if you go there, there is a new development. So that was our reason of going there, to inform those that are working there that this place is owned by the community. If you're working here, you are doing at your own risks. So we went there as a committee. And
but then you think you are provoking trouble by going there? I think your problem is with the government, lies with the government, not necessarily those that are there, that you found there, right?
No, we didn't go to those people that are working there. There is a real estate that put his billboards there. And the billboards there are numbers that are put there. The numbers are there for information seeking. We took his number, we asked him that we are coming to this particular place at this particular moment, so you can come here and meet us here. That's what we did. We went there, we met him, we discussed what is going on, and those people that are working there, we asked them who asked them to work there. They gave us their numbers, we called them, we informed them, and they adhere to what we are saying. Because what is happening is like, development is taking place. And if it reaches up to a certain extreme end, it will be very difficult to stop them to work. So we are not there necessary to stop them to work, but we are informing them. We are making an alarm that let them realize that this place is owned by the community. And if anything that they are doing there is at their own risk, because most of them would tell you that we got it from private individuals, not even from the government.
But how do you reconcile that with the Permanent Secretary's statement that you are saying it is community land?
Yes.
But Permanent Secretary is saying that it is state land.
Yes, you know,
how do you reconcile that?
I don't want to take this thing very personal. He's from Gunjur. If you go to Gunjur's cemetery, their community cemetery today, is that owned by the state? If the state want to take it, there will be due process. First, the community has to be engaged. You know, you don't just come to my house in Yundum and tell me that this place is owned by the government without consulting the landlord. The people has to be consulted, they have to be engaged, they have to be informed of what they want to do there. But most of the time, what the government would do is, we want to do this for public purpose. We want to build hospitals there. It is a reserved land for this and
so
that. I'm not arguing that, because I've seen some National Assembly members who is saying this, which is a very big disgrace to understand. Saying that these places are state-owned lands. How? Is there any due process been done? You don't just sit in Banjul at your office and say these are state-owned land when the community is not being duly informed. You know, there need to be compensations. A lot of things has to be done before it becomes owner of the state. So this is where Buba will always hang on, that all lands in Combo belongs to the state, like what I've cited.
His argument actually went further. He did say that these are places that are meant for public purposes, and that public purposes include residential layouts. If they deem it fit to make a certain place a layout, the government has every power to do so.
We are not arguing. We are not arguing that. But there needs to be due process. The community has to be informed. People have been working in this particular land for centuries, for decades. They've never been informed that this is what is in place. But the government cannot just wake up once. In fact, the issue with the National Assembly member, let us, I think Gambians need to be aware of this. If you are representing a constituency, wholeheartedly, go back to that constituency and build a house there to be closer to your people. Is this going to be a norm?
Not going to somebody else's.
Exactly. Is this going to be a norm? If their tenure expires in the next 5 years, somebody also came in, has to be given land in people's community reserve lands. It is sad for us, where the present landing site of the aeroplanes, that's where our former cemetery was. Our great-grandfathers, the flights are landing on them. We never queried. The army camp was given, we never queried. The airport was given, we never queried. The police station was given, we never queried. Agriculture was given, we never queried. But for this one, we said enough is enough. Let us be engaged. And I heard the Permanent Secretary was saying that their doors are open of this thing. We wrote a letter, several follow-ups letters.
And they never responded?
They never responded. All our meetings will be done with us and the minister. I think the Permanent Secretary, the community met him once. I'm not sure whether the VDC was informed, was part of it. Maybe my chairman can remind me on that. Yes. But all the meetings that we did was done with the minister. Yes. That was, you know, all after several letters. Most of those meetings are not even formal. We just pop into his office and do the meeting because we need it. So we are calling the attention of the National Assembly members and the country to be aware of what is going on. Let them understand the plights of the community. If they cannot give us what
they
we
shouldn't
own,
take from you.
they shouldn't take from us.
But at least in the standard today, at least 2 of the NAMs did say that they clearly they don't want to give back the land. What they are saying is that if your community can prove before a court of law that the land belongs to you, they will return the land.
Yeah, you are sure of that. You didn't wait for the final court verdict for an appeal to be done. I saw somebody said he nearly invest about $500,000 on the land already. If you have that intention of giving back, why wait for that moment? Can't you wait a bit? Can't you raise that flag? Can't you engage the executive? Tell them that this is before us. There is a conflict there. And we are part and parcel of this if we take it. Let's take, for example, a National Assembly. They work hand in glove with the executive. There are 3 arms of government, if I could remember. The executive, they all have almost a par. They are all a par in terms of their authority, their power. So you are taking this thing. Now you are giving that power to the executive that, we are also part of this. So now, when people heard of this, they will say, okay, now it's the National Assembly and the ministers, they are all part of it. So the community will relax. We will not. We will challenge this thing at the courts. Whatever the verdicts are, we'll take it in good faith. Because as far as we are concerned, we know that these particular individuals do not get this thing in the most legit way. And the other part, in fact, our main query, I want to emphasize it. Our main query is not about those areas. Our query there is to raise the alarm and our disappointment on our representatives. But our main query is the reserve land that is yet to be occupied, but it is being encouraged day by day. This is our concern. If the government said today we are going to construct a hospital there, we are not going to complain. If they said they are going to construct a stadium there, we are not going to complain. But private individuals enjoying at the detriment of the community. This is what is happening. Private individuals who are earning even better than most of our community members are enjoying our hard-fought
land that belongs to your
at the detriment of the community. That is what is happening. Private individual. The National Assembly members are one of the highest paid public servants in this country. Why? I saw a National Assembly member saying...
And these are people...
Yes, let me say it. Yeah. A National Assembly member is saying that, it is only in the Gambia that National Assembly members are renting. Who is the cause of that? Is it us?
That's not your problem.
It's not our problem. It's not the problem of the country. Yes, let them go and fought for them.
So now, because the last time you went to survey, if you like, survey this land, you met riot police there, but flexing their might.
Yeah.
And that was no problem. But you went there, do you still, because that can bring trouble, because land is always a flashpoint. Land is always very serious. We've seen what has happened in other communities. Yes. And now, the community has been mobilizing itself, mobilizing the VDC, mobilizing members of the community to go to this land. Land clearly where you have people, private individuals, going about their projects. So don't you think, do you think that is a good idea at all for you to be doing that?
I must say that the commander there, I think is Sambu.
Sambu, yeah.
Did a professional job. I must commend him for that. When we went there as a community, I think we are over 50, close to 100 people. But the show of professionalism that he showcased, I think if that is been emulated by other security personnel that are leading their troops in such circumstances, there will not be any choice. When we arrived there, he has been ill-informed that the community is going to where the construction is taking place. But with the intervention of our chairman, he explained our reason of coming there and where we are going to. This was understood. The police escorted us up to where we wanted to go. We met those people that we want to meet. We informed the entire community so that the misconception can be erased in the minds of our members, that this is what we are fighting for, in the most civilized and peaceful way, that let the community be giving back what they own. We are not forcing the government to go and construct something there. We just went there to inform the community that this is what is happening. Be informed, be alerted. Let everybody be a security. If you see any construction that is taking place, inform the community and we'll engage the person. If need be, we will go to the police station and put forward our complaint. This is what we did. And I can assure you that anytime the community goes to that particular land, there will not be any choice. If there's need for us to demonstrate, we will. We will.
Yes,
if
take the government head on if need be.
If need be, government to take on
to take on them head on. By
we are taking them head on because we are using the might of our pen. We are writing to them every now and then. We are not tired. We'll continue doing that in the most peaceful and civilized way. We are not going there to vandalize. We are not going there to fight with the police. We will not do that. We are a civilized community. And the people that are among us are very smart and, very level-headed. I can tell you we have one of the youngest village development committee in the whole of Combo. And the people that are there, they are very well informed of what is happening around. So we'll make sure that whatever we are doing, we do it in accordance with the laws of the land. We'll follow this. This is the reason why we are doing all these writings. Anything that we do, we write. We copied all the stakeholders, even the political parties, we wrote to them.
The National Assembly?
The political parties, I mean. We wrote to them to inform them that let them inform their members of the National Assembly that they are taking plots that the community owns. And this would serve as a bad image for their political parties. Because for them, they are representing them at the National Assembly. And if their members are indulging in such a manner, it's not a good sign of image. It's not portraying a good sign of image.
Did the community try to investigate the names really that are involved, that have taken land?
Okay.
Or you don't know?
As far as I am concerned, some political parties reached out to Rust, and we made to understand that several members of the National Assembly took it, except some few individuals, which we are yet to confirm officially, because they've not written to Rust. We've wrote to them that this is what we've been informed. And some officials, which I will not be able to disclose their names, who informed me that the members of PDOIS didn't talk. In particular, Halifa Sallah, I think, and Usman Silla.
Halifa Sallah and Usman Silla?
Yes, I've been informed of that. I don't know whether it's true or not, but this is what I've been informed, that these two gentlemen didn't.
The information, where did it come from? Their party? From
their party. This is a person that is well known within their party ranks, and I trust him a lot. I don't think he will tell me anything that is untrue. However, our fight is not on the party line. In the VDC, we belong to different parties, and we heard it from certain quarters that we are fighting for we are fighting Barrow. Most of the National Assembly members do not belong to Barrow. Some of them are in the UDP, some of them are APRC, some of them are GDC. There are multi-party members at the National Assembly. So we are not particular about fighting somebody. And you ask something whether there are certain monetary gains that the people of New Yundum, in particular in Combo. That is not our case. We said give back our land, we lease it, and it will be there for the community. Do not give it to me to take it to Bojankunda, or give it to Alaji to take it to Sisakunda. We said for the community of New Yundum, for our development purposes. This is what we want our lands for. But why is the ministry still reluctant in giving this back to the community? That is our concern. Why are they reluctant?
Chairman, do you have anything to tell the permanent secretary? Because clearly he's the one that most of the time that the minister will throw out there. Well, he's the technician, so most of the time he's the one who will do the work. Now, tell us what you make of his statement there, that really, in fact, this is not your land, it's government land. So government has every right to do whatever it wants to do with the land.
I think Permanent Secretary got it wrong on that. I know it can be a state land, but there should be a due process that needs to be taken before it becomes a state land. The land rightfully belongs to people of New Yundum. According to the law or Local Government Act, if government wants to put something there that is beneficial to the community or to the entire nation or the general public, then there are steps that needs to be taken. Come back to the community, engage with them, sit with them, and talk with them. Engage them, sit with them, and talk with them, and tell them your plans. And from there, you come to an agreement that whether this place will be taken and be used for this and that purpose, and whether the village will be compensated or not, or if it needs a compensation, the village will ask for a compensation. If it doesn't need a compensation, the village will just leave it like that, as we did in a matter of the airport, the Union Barracks, the agriculture, that even the side 3 that the Banjoni women are working. It's our land, it's part of our land. But what the permanent secretary is saying, I don't think he is doing exactly what the law says.
You don't think so?
I'm not so.
So, Chairman, sign left up men, tell us, Atulu New Yundum call, or left up Munela Nyum Kokora, because most of the people, many Alanko, will Lelia can also, you cannot do the Bidol, the Bidol many Alanko, will Ladugo Mendualamuka, Gambiano Lukela interest tanka, Aninke tanka, Aninka Torakane Leka. So, no Bidol found Fanana blow Kokora, Jakalos in our.
Deputy my disappointments for the back because I'm very more Batada Soto community or Banco Dingol. It don't remember Bunda de Mialonco is a body tailor Batada Colada for a Punikamaye Marquay. To my surprise, B standard publisher newspaper in publish B. Ngaje deputy lolo told be Keno sen that in court ya decide. You know man how batula. Ni court ya decide ko indum talo. Mbatale bul. Amako to le basendela. Mbatala. Momo fana be fendu ku kan jalan ko ise ni ba do ko sale ba do ku la nyami ni bijala court ate bayla inshallah ni finally court ya decide ko keno nyimba munan tol kan enu min ko jemba tala mo dan tan école ne école sindi ni ka cha sone ba sa te be ko la mo be le fenkere je isale ba dunda je nyami député lu ngal combat to the question député lu ngal disappointment jamal soto wala ngamira fana is na a matter you raise that because mi alon ko bi eventually affect soma bitano lado sini fana bitano so nyin pula mi alon ko nin tol fona national assembly ya nyin accept that means is a bad practice mi alon ko bola dundu kan na député bon to mi alon ka ma fa ne kada ban to ne ma moy ma sekunda kana ka keno se ka di député le ka tawo nyama ma mi rasoto so tol fenta kala men they should lead by example government fen dila han mo do mi man sakunda ya dila mol be nyin ka man to mo tol fon ko nyin kala botam tol so the same thing e korda mi fran de korda nyin kala ya kiskis han mo sakunda dila they have to go back to the community, the people of that community, but my disappointment so they will back boss nya dem be fo le njikitela le symbol tol mi an ko se singula no nyin ko kana te kala but to ata ya muta well, certainly disappointed back.
A disappointment also.
Very good.
Chairman Sise, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Secretary Bojang, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. So when we return, I had an interview. I will speak to the Executive Secretary of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, and I'll ask him whether the former President Yahya Jammeh will testify before the commission wraps up its work.
For the best of the very best in female designer outfits, visit any of the Miss B fashion outlets today.
Welcome to Miss B Designer Outlet in the Gambia. You find us at Vigilo. So welcome.
We sell beautiful women's blouses of different colors and sizes you are guaranteed to love. We also have classy, beautiful evening dresses, quality sequin women's clothes, and beautiful branded shoes and bags to satisfy the shopping needs of every woman. We also sell stylish suits and blazers for men, 100% cotton t-shirts, quality jeans and khaki pants, branded dress-up shoes and sports shoes for men, caps, designer shades, belts, wallets, watches, you name it. In our cosmetics section, we sell designer perfumes, body creams and washes, shampoos, etc. Visit us today at Bigelow between Coco Ocean and the Atlas gas station, or at the Mall of the Gambia, or better yet, call us on 349-5498, 346-0061, or 768-2486.
So the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission will resume hearings on Monday. The coronavirus outbreak saw the commission abandon its public hearings there. The commission is now set to return, but it appears there are new rules that have been set, or that would be set. I am joined by the Executive Secretary of the investigation, Dr. Babagale Jallow. Dr. Jallow, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Lenny.
So tell us, how has the pandemic affected or impacted your investigation there?
Well, in terms of the actual investigations, the pandemic did not affect the Commission very much because the Research and Investigations Unit continued operations. Investigators were reaching out to victims and witnesses, either via telephone or by instituting social distancing measures. So the investigations as such were not very much affected. What was affected was the face-to-face outreach activities, like our teams going out there to meet people. We abandoned that. We also, of course, suspended the hearings, and for that reason, we lost 2 weeks of hearings because of the suspension. So that's the extent of the way in which the coronavirus lockdown affected the work of the Commission.
Now, how are you going to go about it? Still, we have this crisis, and now you want to resume your hearings. What method do you intend to apply?
Well, there will be social distancing measures in place, both in terms of our contact with witnesses and victims, but especially within the hall. So if you go to the hall right now, you will realize that the seating has been reconfigured. There is a distance between the commissioners, and also the media is now moved to another room where there is a big screen, a TV screen where the media would sit, but the TV cameras would be allowed in there with a reduced number of people, of course, manning the cameras. So essentially, that's what we have done. We're not also going to allow an audience into the hall apart from the family members of the witnesses who come with them, as well as some of our support staff. So if you go to the hall now, you realize that the hall, the seating has been reconfigured, and all social distancing and other rules and regulations of the corona pandemic would be observed.
So these 2 weeks that you lost there, how do you intend to recover that?
Well, initially in our work plan for 2020, the hearings were supposed to end at the first week of October. Now, instead of the first week of October, the hearings are going to end at the end of October. So we're going to recover the 2 weeks by adding an additional 2 weeks to our initial work plan. And then the rest of the time that we'll be working on the report, on the final report.
So by Monday, the Commission there is expected to pick it from where it left. What are some of the things that you intend to look at?
Well, we are going to continue with the theme that we started before the lockdown, and that was attacks on road users, as well as the institutional hearing on the prisons. So, we are going to continue with the institutional hearings on the prisons. So we look at prison conditions of detention, and so on and so forth at Mile 2, Janjambure, and JS1 prisons.
And also the return of the investigation or the public hearings is coming at a time when there is this massive advertisement, aggressive advertisement that's been rolled out by your investigation, asking people to come forward if really they have something to share with the Commission. What is that all about?
Well, we had some issues on a number of occasions with witnesses, especially victims, coming forward. For example, when we had the SGBV session, it was very difficult for victims of rape. There are lots of them here, especially in the security forces, but they wouldn't come out to testify. And also the witchcraft investigations had a problem with that. People not just wanting to come for one reason or the other. And so we thought that we should, launch this very aggressive campaign to encourage victims and witnesses to come forward. You don't have to testify, but you need to come forward and register with the Commission and probably give a statement. Only that way might you be considered, for example, for reparations. If you don't register with the Commission and if you don't give a statement, then even if you were supposed to have reparations, you will not. But we just wanted people to come forward so that we have as full a record of the human rights violations that happened in this country. That's why we rolled out this aggressive advertisement calling for people to come forward with the support of the UNDP, TJ, team.
TJ team. But
Yeah.
have people been coming forward?
Yes, yes, people have been coming forward. Our statement takers, researchers, investigators have been very busy over the period that the hearings were suspended. So people have been coming forward, yes.
And also there's this thing out there that the commission, intend to pay or compensate people up to $1 million. That is making some waves. I saw that in the headlines. I was like, okay, is that really the case? Is that what the commission intends to do?
No, I think that was something that was suggested by Mr. Kijera, Sirif Kijera, the chairman of the Victim Center. He said that he wanted every victim to be paid $1 million. I wish we had that money. Certainly, it's not possible. That's just not possible to pay every victim $1 million. And so yesterday I was approached by Keba Jeffang. I think he writes for the Chronicle now. And he asked me this question. I said, well, I wish, but we don't have that kind of money. So also, not all human rights violations will be at the same level. For example, arrest and detention, unlawful arrest and detention is different from murder, for example, or torture. And you cannot pay all victims the same amount of money. Even if you had the money, that would not be possible. So that is just something that perhaps victims want and we want, but under circumstances, it would be unrealistic to expect that every victim would be paid $1 million.
How about I think I asked you this the last time we had an interview. The fact that you have a section of the society that really don't believe in your investigation. They think that it's a joke, it's a farce. Did you, in the past couple of weeks and months, how has anything changed in that regard?
Well, I don't think as far as the TRRC is concerned, anything needs to change. If they could change their mindset, for example, it is foolhardy, really, and very unrealistic to say that the TRRC is a joke. The evidence speaks for itself. People have been educated about the human rights violations that occurred in this country for 22 years. We are putting together a historical record for this generation and future generations. That is not a joke, right? It is not a joke that victims have been sent to Turkey for medical assistance. We are helping victims here at home. Medical assistance, we have given employment to some victims. They are working with the TRRC right now. That's not a joke. We are helping people with their rent victims, with rent monies, with livelihood support. Those things are not jokes. So, of course, critics would have, they have the right to say anything they want, and it is for them to change their mindset. As far as the TRRC is concerned, nothing has changed. We're going to continue doing our work to the best of our ability. At the end of the day, we'll come up with recommendations to the government as to what we think should happen in terms of institutional reforms and prosecutions. So, I don't think anything needs to change as far as we're concerned.
You are concerned. This commission, it's nearing its work. By October, you intend to wrap up your public hearings.
Yes.
The man who is at the center of it all, the man who really matters, former President Jammeh, have you reached out to him?
Not yet. We haven't reached out to him for the simple fact that we are still looking at his government. At some point, we might reach out to him, but we haven't done that yet.
You have not done that. So now also, let us also talk about some of the other issues really that have been out there. One thing has to do with some people who really say they wrote to the commission that they also want to come and really talk about what they went through, but for some reason the commission just ignored them.
People like who?
For example, I had an interview with Dr. Henry Carroll. He said he did write to the TRRC for him to also come forward and also testify, give evidence regarding some of the things that he went through. But deliberately, the commission ignored him. What do you have to say about it? Deliberately.
I wish you didn't put me on the spot to answer a question or an issue from Dr. Carroll. He's my very good friend.
Yes.
Let me just say that the commission is still considering his request. But at the same time, it is not everybody who wants to testify that will be invited. That is just a realistic thing to say. I'm not saying Dr. Carroll will not be invited. You know, he might be invited at some point. He might not be invited. I don't know. That is for the commission to decide at some point. But then, essentially, inviting witnesses to come forward depends on a number of issues. One, you know, would your testimony really add a lot of substance to the historical record, to the evidence that we're trying to gather regarding the human rights violations? Would you be a credible witness? For example, we know that there are people out there who want to testify, but you know, upon consideration of all of the evidence and all of the circumstances, you know, there have been instances where we think that some of the witnesses might not be credible because of, you know, flip-flopping in the past and so on and so forth. But that said, if the commission feels that anyone has something that would add to, or that would add value to our work, then they certainly will be invited to come and testify.
But how do you sieve that through? How do you come to a conclusion that this really case does not add any? Who decides that?
Well, the commission decides that. I mean, the commission is mandated to do work, and part of our work is to evaluate the credibility of witnesses. That is an in-house thing that we do. The commission decides that. The commission will sit down, the executive secretary will sit down, commissioners will sit down, the legal team will sit down, and we will look at issues and witnesses on, you know, on a very objective basis. And we can decide, for example, that a witness who has said this today and said that tomorrow and then said the other thing the other day would not be worth calling to the commission because they will not be credible, because they flip-flopped so far, you know, a lot of times in the past. So it's part of our work to decide that. And we will sit down and look at all the evidence before us and make the determination.
So it is necessarily about credibility and not the issue of seriousness, because according to Dr. Carroll, he caught up with met your counsel there, and the counsel told him that your case is not serious enough, and I was the one who advised the commission not to really listen to take your petition or take your request. Is that really the case, the issue of credibility instead of
that particular question you would have to ask the lead counsel. I can't answer on his behalf. I wasn't there when they met. I read the story. I read the letter that Dr. Carroll wrote. I can't comment on that. But as far as the commission is concerned, you know, if somebody wants to, you know, come forward, even all the statements that are given are evaluated. Every single statement is evaluated. And then you look at those statements, because you can't have all the witnesses come forward to testify. It would be impossible, because we have hundreds of statements on any particular theme. And so we would determine which witnesses would add more value to the work that we're doing. That doesn't mean that the statements will be thrown out, no. Or that the statements will not be considered for reparations, for example, no. What it means is that there are only a select number of witnesses and victims who can come forward and testify. But their statements are part of the record. And once you are registered with the TRRC and you give a statement, the statement goes to the record. It would be part of the final record of the commission.
So now, I know you've gone a little past that now, but the issue of some of the people that have been adversely mentioned, people, for example, junglers, that really you have not been able to get to the commission. How about those people? Have you forgotten about them now, or you still intend to ensure that they come and appear before the commission?
We haven't forgotten about anything at all. As far as it falls within the mandate of the commission, it has not been forgotten. There are junglers who have come forward. There are junglers who have not come forward. Now, some of the junglers who have not come forward, we are reaching out to them. We've reached out to them. We're having conversations with them. And we hope they would be willing and able to come forward in person to testify, or to testify via video link. So that is why, if you look at our work plan for 2020, there is an item, Junglers Part 2. You know, so we do expect that some of the junglers will come forward again and testify.
The likes of Sana Manjang in Guinea-Bissau, for example?
Yeah, junglers. If you are a jungler, you fall within this category. I don't like naming names, but we have been talking to some of the junglers who are outside the country, and we are trying to see how best they would be persuaded, either to come in person to testify or to testify via video link. So that is certainly in the works.
So finally, what should the public expect from your starting next week, from your commission?
Expect in terms of?
What should they expect in terms of the work that you're going to do?
Well, let's expect that we'll do our work to the best of our ability. We do have some witnesses who will come to testify. I think that the witnesses that we have as of now will testify, will start the institutional hearings on the prisons. They should expect that we'll do our work as we have always done, without fear or favor, affection or ill will. That you know, everybody is welcome to come to the TRRC, and we'll give due respect to every witness, every victim who walks in through the door to testify. So, and that there will be social distancing regulations. Not all people, the audience will not be allowed into the hall at this point. We are sorry, but we have to limit the number of people who can go into the hall. So apart from the witness and family members, perhaps close relatives who come with them, there will not be an audience in the hall.
Will we have food too when we come?
Well. I know journalists like eating. I used to be one before. I'm still one. Once a journalist, always a journalist, as you know.
Yes.
Well, we will be happy to give you breakfast.
Breakfast?
Yes. Well, not all of you. Not all of you, just some of you. So you're going to have some kind of a discrimination.
Yes.
But the QTV guys, GRTS guys, they normally would have food. We're hoping that the restaurant would open.
And some of us will have to buy.
Well, yes, some of us will have to buy, yes.
Doc, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome, Lamin. Thank you.
So that's Dr. Babagale Jallow, Executive Secretary of the TRRC. Thank you.